Hi everyone, Highlander here. Today we are going to be looking at the kin-based achievements. That is ones where it's 3 vs 3s and 4 vs 4s, and there's two different types. One is kin versus insane AI, and we're going to start with insane, but I'll give you a couple of tips on the lower levels. For the insane AI kin, you need to have the following race combinations: all Terran, all Protoss, all Zerg. So that means that you and your allies are all Terran, all Protoss, all Zerg. Then you have your second round of achievements, which is versus insane AI kin. So it means you can be whatever you like, but you're against 4 Terran, and then 4 Protoss, and then 4 Zerg. We're going to try and do a couple of these as mirror matches. By doing that, we're going to be making it really easy for you, but not only that, we're going to save some time because you're actually going to get both types of kin at once. Because Terran are a little bit trickier, we're going to spend a little bit more time on that, and you're actually going to do that over 2 games. One will close out the 4 vs 4 kin versus insane AI one, and then the other one will close out the other achievement. Now, one really tricky thing to note is when these achievements came out, they used to say you had to have evenly matched allies and evenly matched opponents. But they've changed that. You now have to have insane AI allies. So you might be thinking, I'm awesome, I'm fantastic, and I'm going to be so good that I'm going to beat all the insane opponents, and I'm going to have medium difficulty allies. Well, you'll get shut. You won't get the achievement. So you actually need to grind through this difficulty by difficulty by difficulty. And this sort of achievement is actually unique in that sense. Without further ado, let's get stuck into it. Okay, so for the purposes of this, we're starting off with the 4 vs 4 with the Protoss versus Protoss. So this covers both killing 4 Protoss and being 4 Protoss. And this is definitely the easiest one because Protoss you can cannon rush. And I'll show you why I've chosen this map here, because the map pool might change, there might become an even better map. We're playing on the map Megaton, and just divert your eyes down to the mini-map on the bottom left-hand corner. The best thing about Megaton is that there are 2 players who are remarkably close together, and you can almost cannon both at once. I can't quite, but there's a couple of spots along this ledge here which will actually shoot across the ledge, and that will help cover you as you go to cannon rush the second player. So that's the first reason, and you always cannon rush the one that's near this ramp, by the way. Don't start cannon rushing someone else. But that's the first thing. The second thing is that all 4 of them are really close together. So if you want to use something like a proxy pile or some sort of structure in the high ground that throws the AI off, particularly the insane AI, then it's much more effective on Megaton than it is on any other map. So really you want them close together, and you want as many people cannonable as possible. But realistically, you don't need to be able to do 2, because a cannon rush is pretty effective. You will slaughter one opponent. You'll have a few cannons around that'll hinder the progress of your other opponents, and then your 3 insane AI buddies should be able to take care of the rest. Really, you just become a spectator. So let's just pick up the pace here for the purpose of this demonstration. Just typical cannon rush: 2 cannons on the low ground. Wait till they're about to finish, get a cannon on the high ground, and you just cannon rush the snot out of your opponent. So I'm going to bring this up to 8 times just so that you can see proof that I actually won. And playing discipline in these games, but just cannon rushing the heck out of this guy. My allies are being scout. My allies are actually pigs. No, my allies are scouting, and they're going to start building up some armies. I've taken out one player completely. I'm beginning to annoy another player over here, and causing a little bit of lag at 8 times speed on this computer. And eventually my allies have started to clean out some of the other enemies because I'm so good, and that's enough. Point is made. So, once again, for Protoss versus Protoss, simply cannon rush. Have 4 Protoss on your side, 4 Protoss on the opposing side. Alright, we're already 1/3 of the way through, at least by ticks that we need to tick off for our achievements. And this process would work just as easily on very hard or any other type of AI. So let's go into the next one, which would be Zerg versus Zerg. Okay, so we're now Zerg versus Zerg. So we're all Zerg. Myself and the 3 insane AI are Zerg, and my opponents are Zerg. So what we're trying to do is we're really just trying to take advantage of the foolish, insane AI. It thinks it's so much smarter than all the other AIs. Okay, well, yeah, sure, it is. But one thing that makes it quite weak is that the workers will try to attack any enemy structure that's in the area. And pretty simple, the strategy here, we just harass with a proxy extractor, and you can see how many different players worth of drones are coming at that extractor. So we've just pulled pretty much of 4 players, we've managed to pull all of the a huge amount of drones off the lines just to kill out these extractors. Now, I was a bit unco. I took one of my drones and I accidentally got him killed because I let the extractor fall. The drones will pull away as soon as you cancel the extractor, so you have to watch its health closely, and you have to just build, cancel, rebuild, cancel, rebuild, cancel, rebuild, cancel. At this point I actually ran out of minerals because I was macroing too hard on my base, and really with your excess minerals you should be trying to get a couple of drones and trying to get a spawning full up. But realistically, the most important thing is that you just keep doing this, and if you keep doing this until you start having Zerglings attacking your extractors, then you'll actually find this pretty easy. You'll win this quite comfortably because your 3 Zerg allies will be so much further ahead than the opposing Zerg that you'll be fine. But there's 2 things you can do to help, and you can see I've lost one here, so I botched it, but I was still able to win, which wasn't too hard. You can either go mass speedlings and just try to harass any expansions that they try to put up, or also try to do little counter attacks whenever the opponents seem to be looking like they're getting a little bit scary, or you don't like the position that they're in, or you've just got a bit of a window of opportunity. Or alternatively, you can go straight for mutalisks, and you can actually use your button for your sharing resources and requesting resources, and ask your insane allies to send you a whole bunch of gas, and they will, because they farm a huge amount of stuff, and they don't really spend it as quickly as they could, so they'll have that gas to send you, and if you ask for it, well, so shall you receive from your insane AI friends. You can do that and just mass mute it and just do the exact same thing I mentioned with the Zerg. You should just trying to harass all of those other expansions that they might attack, and just bug and mess with them that way. I'm not going to play this one out because this one took a little bit of time for my allies to win. They did it comfortably. I really didn't have to work very hard, and I was playing incredibly unco in this particular matchup. But for Zerg vs Zerg, 4 Zerg versus 4 Zerg, you'll get 2 more ticks towards your achievement, and just build those extractors up, and just try to keep those drones alive for as long as possible, building extractors, and then just try and do your share for the team with either Zerglings or Mutas. That's it, and we'll jump into the next one. Okay, so here we are. I'm playing as 4 Terran here, and if I was on a really good day, or I was feeling particularly skilled, then I might be versing 4 Terrans, and that would be the quickest way to spend my time, and that way I would have actually gotten all of these achievements in just only 3 games. But I'm not that skilled, and generally with this sort of thing and this sort of channel, I'm trying to teach you how to win with the minimum amount of skill, so that you can focus on developing your skill, your APM, your multitasking, your macro, your micro, all that stuff. I'm just trying to teach you tricks so that you can get by, get as many achievements as you can with the minimum amount of skill. And I've exemplified that, I think, in some of these replays. So now, when I'm trying to win as 4 Terran, it's an interesting thing. If you set up some matches against different types of AI, you'll find that the Terrans will always beat Protoss, and Terrans or Protoss will always beat Zerg. So if I want the easiest time, that's presuming an even matchup. So if I want the easiest time winning as 4 Terrans, well, what do I set my opponents to? 4 Zerg. And this isn't the first time I've used this strategy, and I'll link to a couple of other videos where we have, but pretty much building a supply depot on that high ground, just like we did with that extractor before when we were Zerg, and we're going to just distract all those drones. Now, if we do that as Terran, with all the other advantages that we already had as Terran, it's really going to be quite easy. And if you've got the money build an engineering bay has a good deal more HP than a supply depot does, and you just keep cancelling it. So we're building it, we're pressing T for our worker who's in the process of building, and then that halts production, we run away and we cancel. Now, I was a split asleep at the wheel and I overreacted and ran my SCV way too far away, way more than was necessary, but I'm bringing it back now. And all you need to do is just build supply depots or engineering base, really anything, up on this high ground. Draw the workers off from mining, and that will give your Terran allies the advantage they need to win the game. Now, what else do you do? Well, I mean, eventually they're going to have Zerglings, so you're going to need to try and participate in some way or another, and for that I'd just recommend Banshees. You can just add some Marines and Marauders to the opponent's ball. One thing I find the Insane AI does not do very well is spot the high ground. So they'll be attacking, they'll have an attack lines right through here, they'll get clogged up with mineral lines and they'll get shot at from the high ground. So even just by having scans at the right time, or some form of air unit, a medivac, anything, just to help spot this high ground, that'll do wonders for your teammates. So
base is under attack.
There are all different options that you can do, and really none of that stuff's too hard. Now don't forget, if you one little trick, if you've got a worker and they're ever getting stuck in a position like that, if you click on a mineral patch, they won't get blocked off by those other miners. They won't get blocked off by any other units. They'll be able to path straight through them. You can test it out if you like. Just cut off some unit with other units of your own. Cut off a worker with other units of your own, and then just click on the mineral patch, and you'll find that those workers just path straight through. And here comes the army, here comes the reinforcements, and really all I'm doing now from my perspective is just working towards taking the Banshee so I can take them down that way. And you can see I'm way behind, but really we're going to win, and we do. So that's Terran. So the easiest or the quickest way to do it is have 4 Terran versus 4 Terran, and you can still use that mass Banshees approach to get that high ground vision and to harass expansions. But if you're lazy or you're lousy like I am, then simply use that technique with the supply depot and the engineering bay. That works either way, but use 4 Terrans against 4 Zerg. Now we're going to jump in the last thing that we need to do for our achievements today, which is to beat 4 Terrans. So here we go. Okay, so now we're trying to beat 4 Terrans. We've already done everything else, and for this we're simply just going to be cannon rushing again as a Protoss. Now, our buddies are Terran. Why do we choose Terran? Well, the only thing that out OPs a Terran is another Terran. So that's why we've chosen Terrans, because Protoss would be inferior, and we want to make our lives as easy as possible. And we're just going to cannon rush. So I'm just going to show you as much of this as I can in this video, but I'm going to be conscious of time and I'm going to keep it down to 1. So there we go, we're going to get that cannon up, and same as before, forge a couple of cannons on the low ground, and oh, and it looks like we were in for some chop. So a couple of cannons on the low ground, and then same as before in our first tutorial with Protoss versus Protoss, you just cannon the heck out of one and then you just move on, cannon the heck out of the other. It's a little harder against the Terrans because they've got those Marines. The Marine Marauders seem to make their way through your cannons fairly easily, but look, realistically, once you've taken out one, all you need is your Insane allies to pull their own weight, and like before, if you can just do nothing more than spot the high ground, that does wonders. So once you've done your cannon rush and it's completely hit a wall, your cannon rush can't go any further, then just go back home and start taking to Void Rays. Because the enemies will have a lot of Marauders and Siege Tanks, which will be useless against your Void Rays, and they'll spot the high ground for your Terran allies, and that'll be more than you need to do. So other than that, I hope you've enjoyed this, I hope it's been helpful. If you have any questions, pop them in the comments below, I'll answer them as quickly as I can, and best of luck.